The Valkyrie had conquered 17 star systems without firing a single shot. Their stealth technology was perfect. It bent light around their ships like water flowing around stones. It absorbed every form of radiation. It made their vessels invisible to every known sensor in the galaxy. For 300 years, no species had ever detected a Valkyrie warship until it was already too late. Admiral Crix stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Silent Blade, watching the blue planet grow larger on the viewing screen. Earth, the homeworld of humanity. His fleet of 200 warships moved through the void like ghosts. Not a single warning had been triggered. Not a single alarm had sounded on any human station they passed. The Valkyrie were tall creatures with gray skin and 4 eyes that could see in multiple spectrums. They had evolved on a world of constant danger, where being seen meant being eaten. Their entire civilization was built on the principle of remaining hidden until the perfect moment to strike. Crix allowed himself a rare smile. The humans had spread across 40 worlds in just 2 centuries. They had built massive fleets and claimed to be a rising power in the galaxy. But they were still young, still primitive in so many ways. Their sensors were impressive by galactic standards, but they were nothing compared to Valkyrie concealment technology. The plan was simple. Appear above Earth without warning. Destroy their orbital defenses before they could react. Then demand unconditional surrender. It had worked on the Thorians. It had worked on the Keskari. It had worked on every species the Valkyrie had ever encountered. Lieutenant Voss approached the Admiral with a datapad. The younger officer's 4 eyes were bright with anticipation. This would be his first conquest. His chance to prove himself worthy of advancement. We will be in optimal firing position in 12 standard cycles. Admiral, Voss reported. All ships report ready status. The humans remain completely unaware of our presence. Crix nodded slowly. He had led 23 invasions in his career. Each one had been the same. The terror in the eyes of their enemies when ships appeared from nowhere. The desperate scramble to mount a defense that always came too late. The quick surrender that followed. Signal the fleet to maintain formation, Crix ordered. We will decloak simultaneously and begin the bombardment of their defense platforms. Standard protocol. The Silent Blade continued its invisible approach. Around it, 200 other warships moved in perfect silence. They passed human mining stations and trading vessels. They slipped past patrol ships and sensor buoys. Nothing detected them. Nothing could detect them. Then, without any warning, alarms began screaming across the bridge. Crix spun toward the sensor station. What is happening? The sensor officer's gray face had turned pale. Admiral, the humans. They have weapons locks on us. All of us. That is impossible, Crix snapped. Check your equipment. Our stealth systems are functioning perfectly. I have checked 3 times, sir. The readings are accurate. The entire human fleet is targeting our ships. They can see us. On the main screen, the view changed to show the tactical situation. Red symbols appeared everywhere. Human warships were emerging from behind moons and asteroids. They were rising from orbital stations. They were jumping in from nearby systems, hundreds of them. And every single one had their weapons pointed directly at the Valkyrie fleet. Crix felt something he had not experienced in over a century of warfare. Fear. A communication signal cut through the chaos on the bridge. The face of a human female appeared on the screen. She wore the uniform of a high-ranking military officer. Her expression was calm, almost bored. Admiral Crix of the Valkyrie Dominion, she said. I am Admiral Sarah Chun of the Terran Imperial Navy. You have entered human territory with hostile intent. Your fleet is surrounded. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded, or you will be destroyed. You have 60 seconds to comply. Crix stared at the screen. How? He demanded. Your sensors cannot penetrate our stealth fields. No technology in the galaxy can detect us when we are cloaked. Admiral Chun smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of a predator who had caught its prey. "You are correct, Admiral. Our sensors cannot detect your ships directly. We cannot see through your stealth technology." "Then how?" Crix asked. "Because we do not need to see your ships," Chun replied. "We only need to see what your ships do to the space around them." Crix did not understand. The human continued speaking. "Your stealth technology is impressive. It hides your ships from all forms of detection. But your ships still have mass. They still create gravity. They still push particles aside as they move. They still leave a wake in the cosmic background radiation. We have been tracking you since you entered our territory 3 days ago." "Impossible," Crix whispered. "We evolved on a planet with no natural predators for our species," Admiral Chun said. "We became the apex predators instead." "Do you know what that means?" "It means we learned to hunt. We learned to track prey that did not want to be found. We learned to read signs in the environment. Broken branches, disturbed grass, footprints in the mud. Your stealth technology hides your ships, but it cannot hide the effect your ships have on the universe around them. We simply learned to look for different signs." The countdown timer on Crix's display showed 40 seconds remaining. "You assumed we would rely on traditional sensors because every other species does," Chen continued. "You assumed we would try to see your ships directly. That assumption was your mistake. Humans do not look for the prey. We look for the trail the prey leaves behind." 30 seconds. Crix's mind raced. His fleet still outnumbered the human ships. But the humans had perfect targeting locks. They knew exactly where every Veltari ship was located. The element of surprise, the only advantage the Veltari had ever needed, was gone. "Our weapons are still superior," Crix said, trying to sound confident. "We can fight our way out." Admiral Chun laughed. "Perhaps you could destroy some of our ships before we destroy all of yours. But I should mention something else. While you were sneaking through our territory, we had plenty of time to prepare. Every ship in my fleet is carrying modified warheads. They do not target your vessels directly. They target the space around your vessels. Specifically, they release a cloud of reflective particles that will cling to your hulls and make you permanently visible." 20 seconds. "Even if some of your ships escape," Chun said, "they will never be invisible again. They will carry our markers back to your homeworld. And then we will be able to track every ship your people have ever built." Crix understood now. The humans had not just found a way to detect Veltari ships. They had found a way to eliminate Veltari stealth technology forever. 300 years of conquest, 300 years of being the invisible terror of the galaxy, would end in a single battle. 10 seconds. Admiral Crix of the Veltari Dominion, Chun said. "What is your decision?" The bridge was silent. Every officer was staring at their admiral. They had never faced a situation like this. They had never been the ones who were trapped and outmatched. Crix looked at the tactical display one final time. The human ships were in perfect position. They had planned this for days. They had watched the Veltari fleet approach and had said nothing. They had let the Veltari believe they were invisible and undetected. They had played along with the game until they held every advantage. "Power down our weapons," Crix said quietly. "Signal the fleet to stand down." "Admiral," Lieutenant Voss asked in shock. "We cannot surrender. We are the Veltari. We have never lost a battle. We have never fought an enemy who could see us," Crix replied. "Signal the fleet, Lieutenant. That is an order." On the screen, Admiral Chun nodded. "A wise decision. Your ships will be escorted to holding coordinates. Your crews will be treated according to interstellar conventions. We will discuss terms for your return to Veltari space after a full debrief." The communication ended. Human warships moved to surround the Veltari fleet. Small craft launched to begin the boarding process. Lieutenant Voss stood beside his admiral, still struggling to understand what had happened. How did they know? How could they possibly have developed this technology? Crix watched the human ships approach. They were smaller than Veltari vessels, less elegant, built for function rather than form. But they had one. They had one without firing a single shot. They did not develop technology, Crick said slowly. They used the technology they already had. The technology they developed on their homeworld over millions of years. The ability to track prey that does not want to be found. But that is so simple, Voss said. Simple, Crix agreed. And we never considered it because we never needed to hunt. We hid from predators. We evolved to be invisible. They evolved to find things that were invisible. We were the prey that thought it was the predator. The first human boarding craft attached to the silent blade. Crix heard the sound of hatches opening, of armored boots marching through his corridors. In 300 years, no enemy had ever set foot on a Vulturi command ship. The doors to the bridge opened. Human soldiers entered with weapons raised. They moved with the efficiency of trained hunters. They swept the room with their eyes, checking every corner, every shadow. Behind them came Admiral Chun herself. She was shorter than Crix had expected. Humans were a small species by galactic standards. But she walked with the confidence of someone who knew exactly how dangerous she was. Admiral Crick, she said, thank you for your cooperation. I have some questions for you. You will learn nothing from me, Crick said with as much dignity as he could manage. Chen smiled again. That predator smile. I already know everything I need to know about your stealth technology. I have studied it for years. What I want to know is simple. How many other species are you currently planning to conquer? Crix remained silent. Let me explain something to you, Chun said. The Vulturi have terrorized this galaxy for 3 centuries. You have enslaved 17 species. You have destroyed countless civilizations. That ends today. You will tell us every planet you control, every fleet you command, every species you have conquered, and then you will help us set them free. And if I refuse? Chun shrugged. Then you will spend the rest of your life in a prison where you will never hide from anything ever again. Every light will be on all the time. Every camera will watch you all the time. You will be completely visible for every moment of every day for the rest of your existence. Crix felt his blood run cold. To a Vulturi, that was worse than death. Or, Chun continued, you can cooperate. Help us liberate the species you have enslaved. Show us that the Vulturi are capable of being more than invisible monsters. And perhaps your people can find a place in the galaxy that does not involve hunting from the shadows. She let the words hang in the air. Crix thought about his people. He thought about 3 centuries of hiding, 3 centuries of striking from darkness, 3 centuries of being feared but never respected. Perhaps it was time for a change. I will tell you what you want to know, Crix said. Chen nodded. She had known he would agree. She had read him the moment she walked into the room. That was what predators did. They watched. They learned. They predicted. The human gestured for his soldiers to lower their weapons. Good. Let us begin. We have a lot of civilizations to free, and I would like to finish before dinner. She said it casually, as if liberating 17 star systems was a minor task on her schedule. And perhaps to her, it was. Humans were not just hunters. They were builders. They were dreamers. They were the species that looked at the impossible and saw only a problem to be solved. The Vulturi had spent 300 years believing they were the ultimate power in the galaxy. They had been wrong. They had simply been the prey that had not yet met its predator. Now they had. And the galaxy would never be the same.